So I'm sure the main aim of this show is about smart cards in payment and also in identification world. So maybe we are a bit freaked out about the identification and tracking by the governments these days, but let's go for what's going on in e-identification, the electronic identification and the electronic government world. So I'll make 4 main topics for the content. So what's going on in e-government market and what are the trends and the evolution of the multi-application. And I'll give you some information about some case studies all over the world, what some countries are doing, and also some successful implementation requirements and conclusions. So today, as you can see in the chart, so there is a big trend toward the national e-ID cards. And when you go to the one by one, the markets, the applications, you will see there the national ID cards are widely used all over the world. It is not only the electronic ID cards, but also the traditional paper cards. So our plastic cards without a chip. So it's more than 3 billion in circulation. And for the health cards or healthcare cards, it is around 1.5 billion. And for the driver license, it is more or less the same quantity in circulation. And the passports, more than 800 million, and I think it's now close to 1 billion. The passports are used in many different countries. And as you will see again, the national ID cards, as I said, it's widely used, and now in many countries in the world, it is either a smart card based solution or it is planned to be a smart card based e-government or national ID cards. So health cards, it's mainly the contact, and you can just control your prescriptions, recipes, or the doctor controls, the regular controls, and maybe the payments. So driver license, again, it's just a single application, a mono application to be checked by the policeman or the control people during the traffic. And the passports, it's, I think, in these 4 different applications area, the passports are the most mature ones because the electronic passports are in use for more than 10 years. But when you look all of these are all different applications, but the future, or maybe it started in some countries, but the future is for sure to gather all of them in a single card. Maybe passports can be separated from this, but the national ID cards, driver license, and healthcare cards can be put into a single, let's say, e-government identification card. So what's going on in the world now? As of end of 2011, you can see on the map that there are many projects already deployed in the world. So the maybe 40 projects in deployment, and more than 60 projects are planned or about to begin. So you will see in the map that CT means the contact card, and hybrid and contactless are also CL and DIF, the dual interface cards, and many countries are planning the national ID, or let's say e-government ID cards. There's a wide range of memory requirement, starting from 8K to 144K. And the aim is, of course, to make a cost-efficient product, and our target is to make it in a multi-application card and to reduce the costs with the same security, minimum same security features. Of course, the aim of the presentation, as you know, is to talk about the multi-application cards, and the world trend is to combine several applications for the services into a single card to cost saving. So we can tell you that it is not a dream. It is happening now. So there are many different projects in the world based on a multi-application. So it's reality. As I mentioned in my previous slide, the multi-application products on their chip, they contain several applications and several services that will be planned to be given by the governments and also the private entities. So what are the key benefits for the multi-applications? Okay, it's good to have everything in a single card, but of course there should be some other benefits other than cost. So it will be a very economic solution and a versatile solution, and that you can deliver more than one service to your citizens. And for sure you will reduce the costs, and since you will use the same card, you will use more or less the same structure and infrastructure by sharing the cards. And of course the customer convenience and interoperability. So we talk about the multi-application, but what we can put in a multi-application identity card, of course, the first aim is to install an e-government application like national ID cards or the travel cards. But on top, you can make it rich by putting a banking application or like EMV applications. Also, some transport applications. For example, one of our high-running products in the world is MyFare, and it's sold more than 5 billion pieces in the world. So imagine that you make a card, a multi-application card with the interoperable with the MyFare solutions all over the world. So for sure it will bring you so big advantage. And also maybe for private segment, it is the access control schemes and access control. So e-government mainly, I mentioned, you can see it in the screen that the electronic ID, healthcare and the social security, and citizen cards and company access. And the banking, for sure it's EMV and maybe some local schemes of the governments or the local entities. And for sure public transport. You can combine them all in a single card. So just want to give you some examples what's going on in the world. So Russia Unified Electronic Card, it's again a dual interface electronic ID card, and it's already in a place and starting at the beginning of this year, and it's targeting about 140 million citizens of Russian Federation, and their aim is of course to make it a federal Russia ID card application. So as mentioned, including not only the identification but also the healthcare and the social security schemes. And there's a huge circulation of cards in Russia, especially in Moscow, for public transportation. And the idea is to combine the public transport and the identification card all together. On top, there's a banking application. So the Brazilian EID card is, RIC is the Registro de Identidade Civil. It is the civil identity registration card. So again, it started end of last year and targeting 150 million citizens of Brazil over 10 years. It includes both contactless and contact chip, which is a hybrid card. And they want to use it as an ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, compliant travel document, and also biometric card. In India, again, there's another project. So this is a contactless electronic ID card, and it started 2 years ago, and now targeting 25 million citizens with a big memory size, which is really convenient to use as a multi-application identification card. There, as you can see, there are different type of application possibilities in India, like the work attendance control, the wage payments, and the governmental worker ID. And by the way, this is awarded by the Planning Commission of India. Close to here, again, Indonesia, EID. This is one of the contactless electronic ID projects in the world. It started a year ago, and they plan to finalize to make it mass volumes end of this year. So targeting 170 million citizens, which is one of the largest electronic ID card implementations in the world. But it is, when you go back to the previous ones, it is less memory, So again, they're targeting some several applications inside the card. For example, the government ID application and the e-voting. There is also an association named the Southeast Asian Nations. Indonesia is one of the leading countries there, and they want to implement a solution where possible to use all over this Southeast Asian nations. So it will be again a travel document which is compliant to the ICAO. And I think this is the last one about the citizen guards in China. It's again a one contact and contactless IC inside. It started mid of last year and targeting the cities with a population more than 1 million. It started as the electronic card for identification, but now they want to widen it as a citizen ID card, including the social security and healthcare, also the access management for the public areas, and to use in the public transportation, which is based on MyFair solution of NXP. So it's good to mention about all these successful projects in the world. They all began as the single application of the government ID cards, but you can guess that it's not easy to gather all the entities from government and the private part of the countries. So there are some really tough points which is hampering the easy adoption of the multi-application. So first, it's really, really difficult to sit together on the same table with the government and the private market people, private companies, because everybody has different interests. One is just thinking about making the life easier for the citizens, but the private companies are looking to get some money, to gain some money, to make some good profits. So that's why no alignment for most of the projects in the world for the moment. So it's very complicated to define the right business model and the focus points and also the framework. So as I mentioned, some is looking for revenue generation, some is looking for just to save the day. When it is government, when the project is getting a bit complicated, the main reason is it's taken too much time to decide, because the government, most of the governments in the world, it's not really easy to manage the process inside. And when you go for a multi-application governmental and private market solution, so you need to go for a secure solution which may require a certification, and it is tough and it's taken too much time to get certified by the security authorities in the world. And for sure, it's a really common argument and a discussion point: who will be the project manager for the main project, who will take the leadership. Of course, you need some good partners, active partners, that they will take the lead and will lead you in the right direction. When you start a multi-application project, you need to think about the management of the card in the field, and you need to understand, and you need to know, really you need to know how to make it better, improve the applications in the field. So that's why the card lifecycle management is one of the most important parts, but on top of it, the post-issuance, which is loading a new application and erasing, deleting an application, or updating the data of the card in the field, it's very important and difficult. So, what goes to success? Maybe I mentioned the hampering parts, which are the blocking parts in the previous slide, and here you can see that the government should take the lead in most of the cases and make it mandatory to keep the rules and to put the rules and to introduce a good and flexible solution to avoid from a business model conflict. So the key party is the government. So if you give good power, big power to the leading party, It may be a government, it may be a, I don't know, a system integrator or a solution provider. So if you empower the leading party, then it will be easier for you to make the multi-application setup, and because you can make the definition, the development, and the deployment in an easier way. And for sure, everybody should be very transparent in such multi-application projects, and as to avoid from any misunderstanding and just to get aligned on the implementation schedule. Again, one authority should be established for the card lifecycle management. So in most of the cases, in unsuccessful projects in the world, you can start a project, but if you don't follow up and if you don't follow it in a very dynamic way, in a very proactive way, you fail in most of the cases. So to avoid from this, the card lifecycle management is one of the key items that you should take care about. So, okay, so what's the role of the companies like NXP in this business? So, we are in touch with some companies in the world, which is more than 1,000 in our partner network. So NXP is today working with, in the ecosystem, is working with or cooperating with more than 1,000 countries, governments, 1,000 companies and governments and system integrators or the entities. So you should have a very big technical expertise, and you should understand what you offer. You should know what you offer and what may be the obstacles in the future for the sake of the project. And you should, for sure, you should have a global presence. So we are based in more than maybe 60 different countries and having a local support in each and every one of them. Of course, just the cooperation in the ecosystem is not enough. It's never enough. So the leading product and services portfolio is one of the key items to be successful and to deliver the right product at the right time. So you should cover the complete, let's say, the bandwidth of all solutions and applications, and you should be ahead of the technology and the innovation. So you cannot stop, and you should continue to develop yourself within technology and the product leadership. So I'll go quick on this. So I mentioned several times. So these are the convenience part, and like Russia, like Brazil, and like some citizen cards projects. So there is a convergence between e-government, banking, public transportation. So it is several applications in one card. So you should offer a very high performance product, a solution. So it is not like it was in the past. So now the more you bring a new technology, the more demanding are the governments and the private entities. So we are based in Turkey, for example. We are a global international company, but our branch, one of the branches in Turkey and the Turkey Electronic Passport project, the transaction speed, the required transaction speed is now below 3 seconds. So while it was 5 or 6 seconds in the past for transaction. And for sure, your product that's to be offered should be future proven. It should be very secure and protected against the attacks and the attack scenarios for today and for the future. So the competitive technology means, for example, you will see it in the slide, that to reduce the costs, you should lower down the size of the IC. And of course, you should cover, in a family concept, you should cover all the possible applications in the field. So there's no way that you offer a multi-application card without a public transportation solution with the emulation. So the risk reduction is the key for the government. Okay. Today, More than 100 countries are using the e-documents or electronic ID products in the world. And out of these 102, around 86 of them are using NXP solutions. So you may see in the map there are many countries still using and planning to use the NXP products. So there's no chance to fail, so that's why you need to improve yourself each and every day. So I'll not go into details about all the projects mentioned here, but we produce now, we say that it's 400 million, but we are close to 500 million, half billion units of products in eGov market, and our target is for sure to increase this to 1 billion in coming years. So the conclusions. It is not, in my beginning of my presentation I mentioned that the multi-application is the future, but of course it's not only the future, so we will not wait. There are many projects already in place, and the multi-application is happening right now. So just an idea about Turkey. So our electronic identification card tender is out. It's about to finalize. So there'll be both the citizenship ID application, healthcare application, and maybe a contactless payment application in the future. So this is a very good example. Hopefully next year, if we are still here, so we can talk about this project in details. So we already talked about it. Of course, the convenience, performance, and the future-proven solutions are the key things that to make you successful in your multi-application electronic government projects. So since we have a partner network of more than 1,000 companies in, so it's a good opportunity for us to have the right know-how and a good network, and to find the right product and service offerings.